Okay, here we go, guys. Good evening. I can take my little headphone now. Now I've stopped listening to the music. Good evening, guys. Welcome to this episode 52 of the FPL Family. My name is Lee. This is Sam. I haven't said that for a few weeks. Don't know if you've noticed. I don't know if you noticed. Somebody pulled that up on the YouTube comments in the last video. You don't introduce yourselves anymore. So if you don't know who we are, if you're new to these live streams, I'm Lee. This is Sam. Welcome. This is FPL Family. What a weekend we've had. What a weekend of FPL football. Not only, I mean, sporting, so sport-wise and all sports, we're just coming on as Tiger Woods has clinched his, what was it, 15th or 18th? 15th major championship. I mean, goodness me, that is some comeback from Tiger Woods.
Masters,
and then earlier we watched Lewis Hamilton romp to the 1,000th, not his 1,000th, but the 1,000th Grand Prix ever. Lewis Hamilton, great start to the season, awesome. And then this Sunday, Super Sunday from a Fantasy League perspective, from a Premier League perspective, way better than yesterday, frankly. Yesterday was a car crash.
Excuse me, I think you'll find that Saturday lunchtime was absolutely quality viewing.
That's right, you're absolutely right. Saturday lunchtime for Spurs fans were made very, very good viewing. And for any Lucas Mora owners out there, you'll be very, very happy. And if you're a Llorente owner, I think unlucky. Second for XG underachievers, I was reading just as we were coming on tonight. So
I mean, it does make
he was very unlucky, Llorente.
But it really does make you think, imagine Kane in that game. Oh, the fantasy points.
Could have been.
What should have been.
And if you've got your triple captain chip left, Liverpool, who we've just seen beat Chelsea this evening, we're going to talk about that in a minute, versus Huddersfield, and Spurs played well, but Huddersfield were very, very
But I don't think we did play that well, actually. I think
bad.
Huddersfield were poor.
Goodness me, I think Liverpool versus Huddersfield in, what is that, a couple of weeks from now? It's game week 36, I think. If you've got your triple captain chip left, maybe Manet, maybe Salah, who do you pick? I don't know. Made even more difficult after today. Even more difficult. So guys, welcome to this episode of FPL Family. We have got a lot to talk about. Not least the games, the fixtures that we've had so far this game week. Two fixtures to go. Watford versus Arsenal at Vicarage Road tomorrow night in the Monday Night Football. And then, of course, Brighton, who we will talk about at some stage this evening. Brighton and Hove.
I'm sure we should talk about Brighton.
Albion, yes, who we all pinned our hopes on for this game week. Some of us doubling, some of us trebling in defence, some of us bringing in Anthony Knockhart, some of us doubling up on captaincy for Duffy. Oh my God, absolute car crash at the Amex Stadium yesterday afternoon. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit of detail, I guess. And we'll be talking about also mini leagues and how we got on and some thoughts about the squads going into next game week, because obviously it's double game week 35 next game week. And of course, a lot of us played wildcards with a view to bench boosting next weekend, which is certainly still in my thinking. Is it still your strategy? Yes, okay. A lot of people thinking about potentially holding on to their bench boost, but it's already active for me. I must have
Depends how many Brighton players you've got, I think.
That's true, yes, very, very true. And we will also be showing you guys a video that we shot earlier in the week before the fixtures happened.
Yes.
With one Mr. Gareth Edser, who was our manager of the month for March. So congratulations to Gareth. He won the £100 of kitbag vouchers, kitbag.com vouchers, but he also won the opportunity to come on the live stream. Now, before, when we had Frank on, we had a Skype call and we did it all live. Now, Gareth sadly lives, not sadly for him, sadly for this, but not sadly for him, lives in Bali, or is in Bali
and our budget
right
doesn't stretch to getting out to Bali to film it live.
Unfortunately, we couldn't hop on a plane, and unfortunately, we couldn't fly Gareth back. And also, at this time, if Gareth's tuned in, Gareth, welcome, but I think it's like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, isn't it? Yeah. So we've shot the video in advance of the Game Week 34 fixtures, so we will be talking to Gareth a bit later on about his wildcard strategy and his bench boost strategy, but it'll be a little bit out of date. Because we've just had a load of fixtures, and we talk about the potential for Brighton, for example.
We did appreciate that this was going to happen, so we did also talk about Game Week 35, and we did some previews of that.
Yeah, and Gareth talks about his team and all that sort of
relevant.
stuff. Absolutely. So we will talk about that. We will show that video a bit later on, guys. But before we get started, let's say hello to a few people. Let's get into the main screen and see who is in. And I need to just change. Oh, it's very technical today, Sam. I'll tell you, it's very technical. Anything could happen tonight. Here we go. This one.
Why are you referring to me by name?
I don't know. As soon as it goes technical, I feel like I need to really concentrate. I've got to switch on. Chris Cross is in. How are you doing, Chris Cross? Andrew Yee is here. I felt like I've ruined my team with the wildcard. Now, Andrew, I don't think you're alone. In my wildcard, I took out Fraser, I took out Pogba, And I took out Callum Wilson. Combined 45 points this game week. Absolutely savage.
But.
Go on.
But Bournemouth, really?
Yeah. No one's calling that result, are they? We spent the whole week, and on the FPL show, we were here like this time last week, all throughout the week. Nailed on. Brighton are good at home. Bournemouth are bad away. They're on the beach.
And even now, like I look at that, taking Fraser out, and I'm annoyed by it, because obviously you are annoyed by it. However, I still wouldn't change it. I'd still do it again, because I still don't fancy Ryan Fraser to score more.
You'd stand by your decisions, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I brought in Son instead. I still stand by the fact that I think Son will outscore Fraser by the end of the season for this run of fixtures that we've got coming up. So it's annoying, it's frustrating, but
it is, and I think, Andrew, you should take some solace, I think,
in
the fact that a lot of managers are in the same boat, but also we played the wild card for a reason, and that reason was not largely game week 34. Of course, we had an eye on 34, but it was largely to maximise 35. So good times are ahead. There are good things coming in 35. Let's be positive. You sound unconvinced, I'll be honest.
No, I'm all up for it.
You didn't have Anthony Knockhart, did you?
No.
Oh my God, what a tackle. What is he thinking?
Oh, Jules did.
What? Did she? Jules? Oh no. She didn't Captain Duffy, did she? Not Captain Duffy. No.
No, I don't think she captained him. She had 3 Brighton.
Oh my goodness.
She had Ryan, Duffy, and Knockhart.
What was Knockhart?
No, I think she captained
there?
Son. I can't remember what she did, but she definitely had Knockhart.
What was going through his head?
Could you not see her little face on BT Sport when it went?
Gutted. I know.
Knockhart had been sent off, and she was just like, oh.
Never mind her little face. Did you see Chris Hughton's face as Knockhart walked off? Didn't even look at him.
Disgust.
Completely blanked him. MU Fan TV is in. He's playing his bench boost next game week. Nice strategy, MU Fan TV. Very good. Nick and Tom from Who Got the Assist. Boys, good evening. How are we doing? And yes, Tom, happy birthday for yesterday. Hope you've had a really, really nice birthday weekend. Jeff from the Captain's Pick podcast is here. Jeff, long time no see. Hope you are well.
Welcome back.
Wildcard insanity, he says. Yes, certainly yesterday it felt like I was going insane as the... Well, we'll come to my team a bit later on, but Mora absolutely saved the day yesterday. It was diabolical except for that.
But I've got to be honest, watching that Spurs game with you has been one of my all-time favourite FPL moments.
I don't think I've ever cheered a Spurs goal like that Mora hat-trick.
He went mental, and it was only by the kids looked at us, and our little boy just went, "What's wrong with you two?
What are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing?" Why is Daddy supporting Mummy's team? What's going on?
And why is Mummy also going mental? And why are they shouting 2 different players' names?
Absolutely. Stealth Panda is here. Hi, Summer Lee says, "Hey, Stealth Panda, how you doing?" Zidane Banks is here. Dom J is here. Neil Kager is here. Brian Springer is here. He's saying, "Nice haircut, Sam. Love it."
Oh, thank you.
There you go. He obviously follows you on Instagram. Or did he just notice the hair? But it's
very good, Brian. It did suddenly go from brown to blonde.
Okay, very good. Yeah, absolutely. I think it looks gorgeous, dear. No, it does. It does.
If I hadn't have had to tell you that I was going to have my hair cut and therefore you'd have to deal with the kids,
would have noticed.
You wouldn't have noticed,
Of course
would you?
I would.
No, you wouldn't have noticed.
Of course I would. Don't give me that rubbish. FPL Dubs is here. How are you doing, FPL Dubs? Bryce, and I always say Bryce's surname wrong, so Bryce, forgive me. I'm going to say Law. I think it's Law. If it's not Bryce, I apologise. But Bryce is one of our patrons, so thank you, Bryce, for joining us this evening. Otto Mild is here, and he's actually put a message in the live chat that is held for review.
Why?
And it just says, Mo Salah. So one of the mods, could you please get in there and accept that comment? That is a very acceptable comment to say this evening. While I've been scrolling through, there's been a super chat from Chris Chorley. Thank you, Chris, for joining us. Not heard your name in here before, Chris, so if you're new, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Lucas Mora, ? Get him in or wait? I have the funds to switch to bring him in for Jimenez. Exactly. Well, that's an interesting switch. That's going to involve some points hits, probably, Chris. I would have thought at some stage. And I don't think I'd want to be getting rid of Jimenez before the double game week that he's got coming up. But we are going to answer that question a bit later on when we talk about the Spurs game.
We'll definitely talk about Lucas Moura.
And we will review that game, and we will absolutely be talking about Lucas Moura. Brian, by the way, says he's not on Instagram. So there we go. He's one of the very few guys in the world that notice when women have their hair cut. Fair play, Brian. Fair play.
Thanks, Brian.
I bet he's got very happy misses. Josh Telling is here. How are you doing? Jimenez, captain in double game week. Yeah, absolutely. So I think Josh is... leaning towards answering Chris's question now. I don't think I'd be getting rid of Jimenez right now. Quickly get Sam a Prosecco, Jim Parry says. Very good.
No, I've not had any drink today.
Jeff is in. Jeff is in and moderating. How are you doing, Jeff? Mo comment is allowed. Yes, absolutely. We've got
well done, Jeff.
All the time in the world for Mo Salah.
I was in trouble with Jeffers.
Why? What did you do?
Well, because when we appeared on the Who Got the Assist pod in the week, They had a question, didn't they? Tom said, "Well, we got a question from
Yes.
Jeff," and I called him Jeffrey.
Did you?
And
Yes.
I don't really know why I called him Jeffrey, because I meant to say Jeffers, and then Jeff messaged me and was like, "Why call me Jeffrey?" Sorry, Jeff.
So they're all on the bandwagon now. Football Kid loves your hair, Sam, with the heart emoji.
Thanks.
Is Sam's game week as sparkling as her hair? Don J says, well, listen.
It's all right.
Could well be. I think it was all right. Now, listen, let's get into...
It's gone green for a change.
You've got a green arrow, which is the first one you've had in quite some time, actually, dear, isn't it? That's long overdue.
Maybe it's
green
the
arrow.
hair.
Maybe it's the hair. Maybe it's just goddamn sheer luck.
Maybe it's just,
Pogba, 2 penalties and 1 wasn't. But, who am I to judge? More on that later on. I need to get to the polls,
bitter,
guys.
are you?
Took Pogba out and he gets 2 penalties. What the hell? And United, I'll tell you what, United fans, you were lucky to win that game. Lucky to beat the Hammers at home, I'll tell you. That's not my red goggles on either. I thought they were very lucky to win that game. Let's talk about the questions
Henderson wasn't offside as well,
for this evening. No, he was not. I don't think he was. Questions for this evening. Get into the polls, guys. Top right-hand corner, the little eye above my head. The first one is a question from me. Who do you think?
Hang on, you can't have a question.
I'm going to ask the question. It's a non-FPL question. Who's going to be champions? Who is going to be the Premier League champions?
You're going to ask who's going to win.
I think that's clear. I think that's been clear for some time. Although you're in my sights. You're in my sights.
Apparently I'm in his sights.
You're in my sights. By about 60 or 70 points. I've got absolutely no hope. But guys, who do you think is going to be the champions this year? I just wanted to get a quick poll out there, and I'm probably going to ask it every week between now and the end of the season. So I'm interested to get a quick flash poll, guys. City or Liverpool? Who do you think is going to win the championship?
I'll answer that for us when we get there.
Excellent.
Not you, because you'll be biased.
Second question comes from Neil. So at Neil Ottawa FPL on Twitter. Thank you, Neil, for sending in the question. If you were going to have one defender for the rest of the Fantasy Premier League year, who would you have? Would you have Trent, Robbo, Doherty, Laporte, or Vertonghen? Who would you have out of that lot? Nice little bunch of defenders there.
I'd go as far as to say the one I'll pick at the end, I'll have for the rest of my fantasy life.
Goodness
until
me.
he retires.
Okay, very good.
He's
Robbo,
that
then.
good.
Robbo.
He's that good. I'll have him till he retires.
Well, we'll come to that a bit later on. So, Neil, thank you for that question. Second question comes from Serial Question on Twitter. Asker, it's Rushiel in with yet another superb question. Best Watford asset for next game week? Delafeu, Foster, Deeney, Pereira, or Will Hughes? If you could have just one of those for next game week, who would you have? Unfortunately for Joe, not even 42 seconds for Watford on tonight's live stream because they don't play until tomorrow. But we may have a little bit of time towards the end to talk about our squads for next game week. And in that talk, I'm pretty sure we may mention the boys from Vicarage Road.
But they will surely get additional time in Thursday night stream because...
Absolutely. So it's Thursday, yes. Absolutely. So Thursday,
so
yes.
They'll have 42 seconds times 2.
At least.
Wow.
At least, I would say. At least.
Joe, make sure you're in on Thursday. Goodness me.
It's going to be an absolute bumper edition of at least 80 seconds worth of Watford. It's going to be unbelievable. Final question. Neil Baxter at N Baxter 1979. Thank you, Neil, for sending this question in. How many City assets will you have in game week 35 considering their fixtures? This is a nice question, I thought, because the City machine rumbles on, right? KDB coming to the fore, 2 assists. I think his first assist of the season.
Yeah,
I think I read his first assist, and that first one was absolutely unreal. Absolutely unreal. I know he got an absolute peach of an assist in the FA Cup where he put it on a plate for Jesus, but that one today for Sterling, and don't get me wrong, fantastic finish by Sterling, but the first assist for the first goal, absolutely vintage KDB. Really, really like him as a player. Absolutely unbelievable player. So how many City assets will you guys have in your game week 31 squads? Given that the double is quite hard, right? It's quite hard. Spurs and Manchester United.
Yeah, but also let's remember that we have a tendency to lose like 6-0 when we go to the Etihad. So
well, let's see. 2 massive games for Spurs coming up at the Etihad. And I think, guys, for my view, I asked that question about who's going to be the Premier League champions. I think we're going to know in a couple of weeks because the next couple of game weeks for Liverpool, I think, are Cardiff and then Huddersfield, and the next 2 for City are. It's Spurs first, then United, is it? Or the other way around?
No, it's Spurs first, then United.
Spurs first, then United.
Spurs, United.
Spurs, United. Okay, so 3 absolutely huge games coming up for Manchester City. And I think, guys, in a couple of weeks, we'll probably know. I mean, if City win those 2 games in the Premier League, I think it's game over, isn't it? I think it's game over. Assuming Liverpool beat Cardiff and Huddersfield. But to be discussed. So, Neil, thank you for sending that in.
Can I just say, brilliant poll questions tonight.
Good poll questions. Yeah, loving it.
Really good ones
loving
tonight.
It. Up to their poll questioning game tonight, the Twitter community.
Absolutely
very,
love that.
very good.
Yeah.
Good, guys. So, guys, that is it for the poll questions. Our Twitter is on the left-hand side, at FPL Family. If you want to go and chat to Sam on Instagram, at FPL Family over there as well. If you want to come and support us on Patreon and see what we do over there and take part in our Manager of the Month competitions, listen to our Ohana podcast that we do exclusively for our patrons, and you want to get into our Slack community, which is going great guns at the moment, head over to patreon.com/FPL Family. All the links in the description below, and we'll see you on the Slack if and when you sign up.
Yeah, loving the Slack.
The Slack is really, really good. So, guys, let's get into the game week. We're going to do the game week first. We're going to talk about the fixtures. Then we're going to show the video with Gareth, and then we're going to do teams and that at the end, and we're going to do mini league updates. So that gives all of our teams and mini leagues a chance to catch up.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that it'll be updated by the time we get to
Sounds like a plan.
Right, so let's talk about, where do you want to start? I think, sadly...
Just deal with the elephant in the room.
Do we need to go straight to the Amex and just discuss what happened there? Or is it... I mean, I genuinely don't know how to summarise that game, guys, other than who saw that coming? Who saw it coming? Brighton, such a good home record. Bournemouth, such a bad away record. Lost 10 of their last 11 at home before this game. Brighton, needed the points. Bournemouth on the beach. Everything pointed towards a Brighton victory in that game, a home win. And of course, if Brighton had maybe, if they'd lost 2-1 or, 1-0, you'd go, well, and they'd played well, then okay, well, anyone can lose a game 1-0. 5-0. 5-0. And the goals just kept raining in. I could not believe what I was hearing.
It was embarrassing by the end.
Genuinely unbelievable. And I think Knockout got sent off after 2. So it was 2-0. Then Knockout gets sent off. And then it just went on a rout. So... were the shackles off for Bournemouth? Do you think they suddenly were? It was like suddenly no pressure. Suddenly we're just going to play for fun, and they were sort of unleashed a little bit. Give me your thoughts on the game. I don't want to dwell on it too much because I don't know what to say. That'd be very, very hard to analyse that. But go on, give us your thoughts.
I mean, I think for me, I went 1 Brighton in the end at the back on the basis that I didn't see Brighton keeping a clean sheet in this double game week.
No.
I just didn't see them keeping a clean sheet against Bournemouth, and I didn't see them keeping one against Cardiff either. I thought they were 2 difficult games, and I thought both of those teams, if they were going to keep a clean sheet, I felt it was more likely to be against Bournemouth. However, I don't know what happened to Bournemouth because they've been on the beach for the last few weeks, and then all of a sudden, it was like.
But that's what I mean. They're just playing with some freedom,
and it was one of those moments where almost a bit like Fulham actually as well this week, where. When they've got nothing, there's nothing to play for, there's no pressure on, there's no expectation anymore. It's just like, go out, show the away fans a good afternoon, travelling support and all of that.
But I'm afraid to say, Brighton all season haven't scored enough goals, right? No. There's only so far that your home form can get, and being solid at home can get you. That is the minimum requirement for staying in the Premier League. And we said it, on Thursday when we were with Jules and with James. I think Jules was trying to talk us into Glenn Murray a little bit, and I was like, really, Jules? Really? Like 3 goals in his last 16, and 2 of them were against Fulham in the same fixture. So I just thought, not only did I not fancy Murray to play 2 lots of 90, but even if whatever minutes he did play, I didn't fancy him to do that well either. So I swerved him massively. I did go double up at the back. I have gone for Ryan. I did go for Duffy. 2 home games against teams that don't travel very well. Yeah, for sure. I must admit, I did consider captaining Duffy. Did you consider captaining Duffy?
He was my vice captain.
Right, so you must have considered it.
But only I tell you that I'll completely honest with you. The only reason I've even got Duffy in my team is because everybody was talking about having Duffy, so I panicked and put him in.
It felt a bit Shield, didn't it?
It was completely a Shield pick.
Yeah.
It was 100% Shield pick. I picked him on the basis that I didn't want to be the only one that went without a Brighton player. So I picked Duffy because everyone was going Duffy, so it made sense.
You say Shield, but then you've got to remember that the Twitter community is just a small part of the whole of FPL, right? So it was a sword disguised as a shield, wasn't it? We're all sitting there thinking it's a shield, but actually, Duffy's not like mega owned, is he?
And I think that is what I have learned this game week. Actually, is that the Instagram community, our Slack community, the Twitter community, these are all such a minute part of the game in terms of the people that contribute to the game as a whole. And so for us, we're all talking about the Brighton assets. And so you feel like if you go without one, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. And you are in terms of the Twitter community at large if they perform. But actually, if you look at it in the wider scheme of the game, they are actually differential picks. It's just they don't feel like they are. And that's why my vice captain went on Duffy. on the basis that everybody around me seemed to be captaining him. So I thought, well, I better put my vice there. I thought some would play, so I didn't see that risk.
Yeah, but... and Karam is here. Karam, good evening. One of our patrons, one of the more active members of our Slack community. Absolutely awesome, Karam, in over there. So Karam is saying, only 66k, Captain Duffy. He was... Absolutely, he was soared. He was absolutely soared.
But you don't realise it.
But you don't think that because you think everyone's doing it. Absolutely. You think, oh, I need to pick him and I think I need to captain him because everyone else is doing it and I need to shield it. And reality is, only 66... I looked at as a stat that came out on Twitter today about the 3 most captained players this game week.
Salah?
It was Aguero, Salah and Hazard.
Yeah.
And of course, I looked at that stat and I just thought, well, I haven't got any of those 3. No. And people on Twitter were saying, it's madness. Neither. You haven't got any. Madness. I was thinking, well...
I didn't have any.
Actually, I've got none, and in the end, that was proved to be all right. Okay, so I'm expecting, as I think the boys Nick and Tom are saying on the live chat, the variance to be very high this game week. There's going to be a lot of sides, a lot of teams that have got absolutely nothing in FPL this week. Yeah, if you've got a Redmond or a Mora, if you've captained Sterling potentially, you've got Pogba, a bit of faith in some of the Liverpool defenders.
If you didn't wildcard and you've still got Fraser, Wilson.
If you didn't wildcard and you've got Bournemouth players. Yeah, you're absolutely up there. I
did see one that had 3 Bournemouth players, Fraser, Wilson and Ake all on the bench.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal. It is a lottery, as John Barrow is saying. But that is, guys, why we love FPL. Because it's genuinely... You can plan it and plan it and plan it, and it still comes down to Lucas flipping Mora that no one's got, or Nathan Redmond that literally no one has talked about the whole week. So let's move on from Brighton versus Bournemouth. I'm interested, just before we do that, to understand what you're doing with your Brighton assets. Clearly, we've got to see how they perform against Cardiff on Tuesday. But going into game week 35, another double, definitely a not as nice double, keeping or selling?
Well, I've only got one.
Oh, so Duffy going to stay there?
I didn't trust Brighton. For this double, I didn't trust them to keep a clean sheet. So I just got Duffy as a shield / sword.
Whatever
as it is now. So yeah, I mean, potentially I could get rid of him. But he has got a double. So probably just keep him for that week.
Is it Wolves away and Spurs away, isn't it? Their double. So I don't expect him to get too much.
I'm not that confident. But the thing is with Duffy, the reason I went Duffy over the others, and it's the reason I didn't go Ryan in the end, is that I didn't see them keeping clean sheets. But Duffy, there is always a chance of some attacking returns.
Well, this is it. The way this season is going, you would not be surprised to see him pop up against Wolves and bang and get a goal. You know, it just wouldn't surprise you. So that, I mean, guys, that is the shock result of the weekend. There's no doubt about it. Like I say, 1-0, 2-1, you could accept that. 5-0 with a red card for Knockhart. And any of you Knockhart owners, that is just such bad luck. It's such bad, because now of course he's out of the Cardiff game, so you're not going to get a double game week out of him. You barely got 50 minutes out of him.
It was straight red as well, wasn't it? So it was
a straight red. That is 3 games.
Yeah,
that is 3 games.
Both
See you
doubles.
later. That is more or less the end of his season, to be honest.
He's out of all the doubles.
They're going to be potentially down by the time he comes back, and it's all Anthony Knockhart's fault. Let's go to.
They're not going down. Cardiff will go down.
Let's go to Saturday lunchtime then. Spurs 4, Huddersfield 0. A far more routine and expected result, I guess. Go on then, talk us through that game. I thought Spurs started a little bit tentatively, but as soon as Wanyama scored, the shackles come off a little bit. And give us a word on Lucas Moura. A lot of the guys in the live chat are saying, Sam, what do I do about Lucas Moura? Is he nailed on now in that Spurs side? Is he going to play in the coming game week? Spurs, double game week next week?
Yeah.
Yes, double game week next week.
City and Brighton.
City and Brighton, yes, of course. And then what's the fixtures after that looking like? Any ideas?
Yeah, nice.
Very good. Yes, a lot of home games, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So Lucas Moura
just
now,
away to Bournemouth.
On everybody's radar. Give us your thoughts on Spurs in general.
So first of all, I wasn't surprised by the team, apart from Son. That did surprise me.
Me too.
I really expected Son to play on the basis that we didn't have a lot of other options with Bailey out as well.
Although what I will say about Son is that, you know, on Wednesday of next week, Spurs have got, and Poch has got the opportunity to get potentially Spurs' best result of their modern history. And that's not me being a drama queen. If you beat City on Wednesday, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible result. They are the favourites, there's no doubt, for the Champions League. So with that in mind, he's got this Saturday to play against an already relegated and doomed Huddersfield. There's a pretty good chance you're going to rest your prized asset right now, who is Heung-min Son, right?
Yes, and so yes, absolutely. But for me, when I was kind of assessing the Spurs team, I was thinking, you know, no Kane, no Dele Alli. I said, I can't remember if I said to you or I said on the Slack, I'm not sure who I was talking to at the time, and I said, you know, expect rests for Rose. Expect Trippier to be benched. I expect Toby not to play. And I expected it to be Foyth and KWP and all of that kind of stuff. So that didn't surprise me, but the sun dropping did. Now, in terms of Lucas Moura, I think Lucas Moura is really interesting because Lucas Moura is not replacing Kane. Lucas Moura was replacing Dele Alli.
Do you think that Lucas Moura, and I saw this come on the live chat a minute ago, I couldn't see who asked the question, apologies guys. Someone was asking there, given that Llorente seemed to go off injured or was carrying a knock, do you think Moura could start up front?
Yes. So, if you'd have said to me before Saturday's game, will Lucas Moura play indefinitely? My answer would have been no, because Dele Alli is going to play with his lightweight cast, apparently, from Wednesday onwards.
Are they going to chuck him on, are they, even with a broken hand?
Yes, apparently so.
Doesn't sound like Poch at all.
He's apparently going to play with a broken hand.
Right.
In the 2 City games. So in my thinking was, well, that's Moura's position. But having said that, Mora was absolutely outstanding.
Bang on it, wasn't he? Absolutely bang on it.
Outstanding. And actually, I thought Llorente was decent as well. I thought Llorente had a decent game. He was a bit wasteful, of course, but then he doesn't play regularly, so he's going to be a bit rusty and a bit
Your
wasteful.
man of the match, not an FPL asset, but Sissoko was brilliant. Wasn't
Man of the season for us.
Sissoko be absolutely
Man
fantastic.
of the season for us.
We're talking about Tiger Woods and comebacks. There's one right there. I mean, Sissoko was down and out, wasn't he?
Most
down
hated
and
man
out.
at Spurs.
Spurs wanted him out, but now
Hero.
look at him, absolutely pivotal.
So now, from an FPL point of view, I think we'll see Lucas Moura regularly playing because I think Llorente doesn't look like he's got 90 minutes in him every week. Dele's going to be back, but is he going to be able to? I think he's going to be back for those 2 games because we're going to need him more than because we want him to play. You'd want him to rest with a broken hand, wouldn't you? Really, not be running around. It's broken in 2 places as well. His hand.
Is it really?
Yeah. So I think Lucas Moura is a great FPL pick, to be honest.
Okay.
Is my long answer to that simple question.
All right, FPL Chancer, Dan is here. Dan, good evening. He's saying Llorente was unlucky. The touch that I can't remember who floated the ball over. Was it Foyth? I think Foyth played to Llorente. Little touch, hit the bar. You're absolutely right, Dan. That would have been a sensational goal.
Yeah.
But talk to me about the overall structure of the team, and including Christian Eriksen. He was a player that a lot of people were getting on, showed a lot of form in the lead up to this game week. But I mean, he got an assist, so it's not like he didn't get anything. But just a little bit too deep for my liking.
So my issue with Christian Eriksen, and actually this is why I stayed Pogba in the end, is that up until late Thursday, I was really on the fence with who I was going to have. Was it going to be Pogba? Was it going to be Eriksen? And actually, the Slack community will tell you that I spent a lot of Friday thinking about breaking my own rule about no deadline day transfers. And the reason I didn't is because when Dele Alli doesn't play, Eriksen has to sit deeper. He has to. And my thinking was, if you've got Son, Llorente and Lucas Moura all operating in that front 3 position almost, where's the space for Christian Eriksen? Christian Eriksen's free kicks and corners have been really poor of late. Really
set piece is not as good. Yeah, absolutely.
So he's been really good going forward when Dele Alli's on the pitch. When he's not, Christian Eriksen for me isn't as good of an asset. And so when I heard that he'd broken his hand in 2 places, I was like, well, that's it. I'll stick with Pogba because a deeper Pogba on penalties is better than a deeper Eriksen not. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, Stealth Panda is saying Eriksen was nothing special. He's taking the 6 and running. Yes, absolutely right.
And I expect Trippier to be back and on free kicks and corners again.
Okay,
So.
Liam Rist is saying Eriksen should have had more points. He's potentially a bit unlucky. So yes, lots of talk and a lot of people getting Eriksen in. He wasn't one that immediately sprung to my mind, to be honest with you, Eriksen. And for that sort of money as well, you want goals and assists, right? I know he gets them, but there's a lot of money to spend on Eriksen when you could have had Son and Mora as well, right?
And just remember that sitting deep against Huddersfield still means you're attacking. Sitting deep against Man City will not be attacking.
Yeah, and despite what we're saying, Eriksen was top for chances created this game week. He and De Bruyne are both with 6. So it's not as if he wasn't in the game. Do you know what I mean?
No, he was in the game. But then you're going to be in the game against Huddersfield, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He wasn't in the top 10 for mids in BPS though. Lucas Moura top, and then about 8 or 9 down, it was Wanyama actually was down there too. So Eriksen, not really the performance that a lot of people were hoping for on their wildcards. But 6 points if you own him, you take it. I think you take it. Spurs assets going forward. I think if you've piled on, I think you stay on, don't you?
Yeah,
which is pretty good.
And if you went for Trippier, which I know a lot of people were thinking about doing, don't panic. Like he'll be back. He'll be back for the rest of the games. I think it was just that he needed a break between this busy and important run that we've got coming now with the 2 City games.
Absolutely. Okay, very good. All right, let's move on. That was Spurs 4, Huddersfield 0. Let's go all the way back to Friday. So another, in my mind, a bit of a surprise result. Everybody piling onto Jamie Vardy. A lot of people captaining Jamie Vardy, expecting the Vardy party to be in full swing again at the King Power Stadium against Newcastle. But Newcastle, as ever, a Rafa Benitez side, showing that they are resilient. They do not get beaten easily. What a header by Mr. Perez, by Jose Perez. Fantastic assist from Richie as well. And generally an all-round very, very good performance from Newcastle.
So maybe free kick that could have been from Rondon as well if that had gone in.
Absolutely, yeah. Could have been more. I know Leicester had their chances, but could have been more for Newcastle. Talk me through your thoughts on the game and what you might want to do with Leicester City assets going forward. No double, as we know, no double next week, but they do go to West Ham. And we're going to come to West Ham Man United in a second, where West Ham did look a little bit better. So how do you feel now about Leicester City and Jamie Vardy going away to the London Stadium in a double game week? And that's their only game.
So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Jamie Vardy at the moment. I was thoroughly irritated by him missing that chance late on in that game against Newcastle.
It was a shocker. FPL Chancellor is saying absolutely the Vardy miss was a shocker. It was. It wasn't
so
good.
Annoying. And actually, I feel a bit different about West Ham now, because the West Ham team that turned up in that Man United game, and sorry, I know I'm going off topic, but it kind of is relevant to what I'm going to say about Vardy, but that West Ham team played a lot better against Manchester United yesterday evening. And so that kind of makes me reconsider my thoughts on Vardy. Now, it's really hard because there are so many in that sort of price bracket of players that you can go to that either do have a double game week next week or are like Firmino and has a really nice fixture.
Nice shout. Yes, absolutely.
So
you can easily there's an easy escape route for Vardy, isn't there? If you want to take the Lacazette, or if you want to go down to a Dini, or if you haven't got Jimenez, you can go there. He's very easy to get off of, Vardy.
Yeah, he is. And there's other options that you can go to. And so for me, I'm sort of looking at that, thinking what West Ham, and I think this is the crux of it, is which West Ham team turns up. If we get the West Ham team from last night, then I don't know if I want Vardy. If we get the West Ham team from last week, I'll have 3 Vardys.
All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Nick and Tom are saying I'm going to do Vardy to Firmino in 36.
I think this is going to be.
I'm going to assume it's Tom.
But that was
rather
my
than
plan.
Nick and Tom.
That was my plan.
Let us know whether it is Nick or whether it is you, Tom.
My original plan was 36.
Okay.
Vardy to Firmino, but now wait, maybe a week early.
And Stealth Panda is saying I would get rid of Vardy for either Lacazette or Dini. Okay, FPL chance of Vardy to Lacazette will be popular. I think it will be. We haven't even seen Lacazette yet, though. We haven't even seen Arsenal yet, and they've got a tough game at Vicarage Road. So, you know, I'm heavily going to be scouting, as will a lot of you guys, I guess, Dini and Lacazette in that game as a potential Vardy out.
Yeah.
I've got to admit, before, I mean, it was a bad game for Leicester, and Vardy should have scored. And if he scores in that game, then we'll stay with him, I think.
Oh, of course.
And if you think about the games leading up to that, I think it's potentially a bit of a knee-jerky move to get rid of him that quickly. I don't know. I just feel like I have other things I want to sort out for the double game week. But if Lacazette pops up with a hat-trick tomorrow, it's going to be very tempting. It is going to be very tempting, no doubt about it. Newcastle, for their part in that game, like we said, looked pretty solid, looked very, very good. I don't think anyone's jumping up and down for them in terms of FPL right now, right? I don't think there's a double game week. I don't think they're really playing for anything. Potentially a little bit on the beach, despite the result they've had on Friday. They're safe now, of course, as well, so guaranteed football for next year in the Premier League. Anything we want to discuss there, or there's other teams to go to, surely, other than Newcastle?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say, and I said it on Thursday evening, I think we do have to be cautious of ignoring the single game week teams who are in good form and do want to play for things. And, you know, there are certain teams out there, and this is the reason I kept Vardy in the end, was that, you know, I looked at that Leicester team and thought, okay, not really got anything to play for, apart from their positions for the team next year and over the summer with when Rodgers is looking to strengthen and bring in his own men. So, you know, just be aware of teams like Newcastle. And, you know, I'm not going to get one, but I could understand the logic of having a Newcastle player at the moment. Okay,
very good. Home to Southampton next week, and Southampton's showing a little bit of form recently, so I'm not sure I'd be gagging to get onto Newcastle. Let's get through the rest of these games pretty quickly. I don't even want to talk about Fulham 2, Everton 0, other than to say That's Everton are, maybe they're on the beach now. Maybe the flip-flops are out. The margaritas are being drunk. I don't know. I mean,
FPL Dare would want you to talk about that, though, wouldn't he?
He would. I mean, he captained Babel, I think, as part of the Dare this week.
I don't know if he captained him, but he had him. Brought him in.
Oh, did he? Okay, he definitely had Ryan Babel. So a nice performance from Ryan Babel. But I don't think any of us are thinking about drafting in either Everton or Fulham for the double game week or for the rest of the season. So let's move swiftly on. Let's go to that United game then. United 2, West Ham 1. You're right, a slightly rejuvenated West Ham, a performance I wasn't expecting. I'll be honest, I thought United were going to trounce
Felipe Anderson? Where's that come from?
So he actually played all right, didn't he?
Yeah.
He played all right. Well,
and should have had another goal.
For me, that tells you a little bit about the player, and I wonder whether West Ham have got quite a few players like this. And I've said it before in terms of the fact that the likes of Arnautovic and Anderson like to play at the big clubs. They like to play on TV. They like it when the cameras are there. They like going to Old Trafford. They like going to the big clubs. Do they want to go away to Cardiff on a Tuesday? No, absolutely not. And they're absolute guff. But when they go to Old Trafford, we might play on that game. So he actually played all right, as did the overall team, actually. They played much better. However, having said that, Pogba pops up with 2 penalties and United got the win. Thoughts on the game? United potentially a little bit lucky to come away with the win. What did you think?
Yeah, I think they were lucky. I think West Ham deserved something out of that game, to be honest. Felipe Anderson should have had another goal. I think they were lucky. Pogba took his 2 penalties well.
So who are you thinking now for the double? So they are, I think, away at Everton, and then of course they welcome City to Old Trafford. So not the best double game week, despite the fact we've just said Everton might have been given up for a season. Martial, Lukaku, Rashford, any of those on your radar? Are we kind of staying clear a little bit?
I'm staying with Pogba.
You're going to stick with Pogba?
Yeah, okay. I feel like Pogba is one of those players who those big games, he's going to want to be the man. Like, he's going to want to turn up and be the man that beats City.
The way that City are playing right now, though,
I just, for me, I look around those positions. I also feel like he's a bit of a differential now amongst the rest of the community. Everyone seems to have got rid of him. So I've got him. He paid off for me keeping him this week. So I'm going to hold him definitely for next week. He's not going to go anywhere over the course of the double game week. And then we'll see where we are in 36. There might be other people that I fancy more. But I think for the sake of 35, I'll be holding him.
So Tom is saying the same as you. He's sticking with Pog. He can always get something.
I agree.
Nick a penalty or get something, Varun is saying United need a massive overhaul in the summer. Wazim Korodia, Pogba, the French Miljovic is worth having for the double game week. So there's a few people backing you. Neil Kager, though, is saying Pogba, no points with that penalty. He's on the beach. He's dreaming of leaving Man U and he's already thinking about climates warmer than Manchester. Joe Finley Batter, welcome Joe, is in this evening. Pogba's a penalty merchant, so you might as well just have Miljovic. So interesting. Lots of thoughts about Pogba, but general feeling is if you've got him, I think keep. Can always pop up with something in one of those games, right? Particularly Everton away. Get something in that game.
Yeah.
West Ham, for their part, what do you make of them? I mean, don't think any of us were thinking about drafting in Felipe Anderson anytime soon. And I don't think my stance on that has changed. I don't think for the rest of the season I'm that bothered about having them either.
No, I think what it does do, though, is it makes you question... It makes you just think a little bit more about the teams that they're facing and whether... Because before, I was in that immediate, playing West Ham, get on them. So hold Vardy, playing West Ham in a couple of weeks. Now I'm in a bit of a kind of quandary with it because it's like, well, which West Ham are you going to get?
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, for me, not really on my radar, so we're going to move swiftly on. 2 teams that are on our radar that I have backed heavily for next double game week are Southampton and Wolves. Nice fixtures for both. Interesting game at the weekend. Nathan Redmond popping up with 2 and Shane Long, the prolific now Shane Long. I think 2 in the last 3 or 4 games or whatever he's got now.
Yeah.
And Danny Ings with an assist. A nice game. I personally was very impressed with Josh Sims. I don't know if you guys know much about him. I personally didn't.
Who?
Well, yeah, right. So I watched him on Match of the Day. Very impressed with Josh Sims. I thought he was very, very good. And actually in the Twitter community, when the team lineup was announced, hell of a lot of Saints fans were saying, oh, Josh Sims starting. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So I think there's a bit of a buzz around this kid coming in. So one for next year's radar, potentially, Josh Sims. Keep an eye out for him. But thoughts about Southampton and then Wolves going into the double game week, given that both have really, really nice fixtures.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got Valerie, as do we all. So
picked up a bit of a knock, didn't he, or was it just cramped?
Well, The rumour is it's cramp, but we need more clarification on that because obviously I'm bench boosting. So if it is more than cramp and he's not going to play, then he's going, because I'm not going to have a guy sat on my bench who doesn't play. That's ridiculous. Yeah. I'm also holding James Ward-Prowse, who didn't get anything in this game week, but I'm happy enough to have James Ward-Prowse. Okay.
Nathan Redmond, not really worth a sideways move from Ward-Prowse to Redmond, is it? I mean, that's not a transfer you're considering.
No. I've got, I think if, we'll see. I actually feel like if Valerie's okay, then my team I might roll this week. I kind of feel like I did it deliberately 4:35. They feel like they're okay. So unless there's an injury to deal with, or I fancy the switch from Vardy to Firmino early, then we'll see. But, I
have a bit of a feel for Saints for next year. I think Hasenhüttl's style, with a full pre-season, if he's got his squad, they're all fit and firing over pre-season, and he works on their fitness, because that's the only thing they're missing, I think, Southampton. They play a very, very nice pressing game. I like the way he's got them set up. I like the energy. I like the enthusiasm that he's instilled in that side since he replaced Mark Hughes. And actually, I think for next year, they are ones to watch, Southampton. Yeah. Really ones to watch. They need to buy a striker, now that Gabbiadini's gone, which I know Liam was very upset about. But they need to buy somebody to bang the goals in. It's not Shane Long, he isn't the answer, and Danny Ings isn't either, because he's injured the whole time. So if they can get somebody up there to finish off the chances that the likes of Redmond and James Ward-Prowse and Josh Sims, I think, will be creating next season, I think they're going to be a force next year, Southampton. Could be ones to watch.
And then obviously both of us are holding Doherty and Jimenez.
Yeah, so how did you feel about that?
Well, I played Jimenez, bench Doherty this week.
All he got this week was a yellow card, Jimenez. FPL royalty, Raul Jimenez, got just a yellow card, 1 pointer for him.
Yeah, but even royalty can't deliver every week, can
Not
they?
every week. Yeah, not every week. What do you want for your 6 point whatever, right?
Quite.
Come on.
I mean, I'm more than happy to have Jimenez. I think he's great. I think the only thing that we need to be considerate of, and we talked about it the last time we streamed, is that Wolves did this last time. Once the season is over and they've got nothing left to play for, it petered out into a bit of a nothingness when they're in the Championship. So my fear is that do Wolves go the same way as they did previously?
Two really nice home games though coming up.
They have, and so you're not doing anything about it there. And also they still have that Europa League spot that they're not far away from. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with my boys. I've had them all season pretty much. So
I think you stick with them. Home to Brighton, home to Arsenal in the double. I mean, that's why we bought in the likes of Doherty and Jota and Jimenez. And
we all know that Wolves love a goal against the top six.
Absolutely, so. I think we stick in there. Let's then quickly review Sunday before we move on to our Manager of the Month video with Gareth. Talk me through this game then. Liverpool 2, Chelsea 0. A lot of talk in the week, and I was particularly bigging up Firmino on the FPL show on Thursday. I personally thought that he would have an impact in this game. He did, not from an FPL perspective, but was very, very good again for Firmino. Really, really on form right now. But as we often see with him, doesn't pick up the FPL points, often creates the space for the other guys. Now, the Manet goal was, I think, created by Jordan Henderson. He is one you need to look out for.
He was your jam pick.
Yeah, I called him out about a week or so ago, saying that he's playing far more attacking now. He's through the middle. Now that Fabinho's sitting, I think Jurgen Klopp is giving Henderson a bit of licence to move forward. Now, the challenge you've got with him is he's not assured a start, because he and Wijnaldum are going to be swapping around. Wijnaldum's got a bit of a back injury, and you never know with backs how long they're going to take to heal. They could be out for a bit, couldn't he? Or could be sort of borderline match fit but not quite ready. So I think Henderson's going to get quite a bit of game time. He looks pumped as well for this, isn't he? He looks absolutely pumped for this run in. Some of the celebrations have been unreal. So really nice assist for Mane's header. And Salah's goal, wow. What a goal from Mohamed Salah. Talk me through your feelings on the game and what you're doing with your Liverpool FPL assets now. So that it's, what is it now, Cardiff at the Cardiff City Stadium, and then home to Huddersfield. I mean, if you piled off of the likes of Manet and Salah and Robertson and Trent and Firmino and people like that, because they don't have a double game week, you're surely on a bit of a sticky wicket now, and you're thinking about getting them back in, surely.
Don't ever lose them. Why would you lose them?
Don't take them out.
Oh my goodness, never lose your Liverpool players. No, I mean I've got 2. I will 100% have 3 by the time that Huddersfield game rolls round. It'll probably be Firmino.
So in a double game week, you're going treble Liverpool.
No, well, so for the Huddersfield game. So
for the Huddersfield, okay,
so I've got 2 Liverpool for next week, and then the plan was to go to 3 Liverpool for 36. So yeah, and I think I'm going to still stick with that plan. Robertson, I just think, we talk about FPL goal with Jimenez, and he is my fantasy player of the season, but Robertson is a very, very close second. He's been absolutely outstanding. And Manet, for me, Salah's goal today was fantastic, and I know, Manet didn't score points last week when Salah did. but for the money that there is different between the two of them, Manet is by far and away, for me, the right pick for my team.
Manet seems to be getting in such nice positions, doesn't he? He was just there in the right place for that header again. Now, Salah's goal, it was a rocket, there's no doubt. And Seb Fox is saying Salah's got his shooting boots back. Yes, absolutely. But Neil Kager is saying, well, Salah or Manet, what do you think? And for me, I still think Manet represents better value. Yeah. Salah ain't going to score like that every week.
And the thing is, as you quite rightly said during the game, you know, if Salah's for the last few weeks, apart from last week when he scored another nice goal, but the last few weeks where we've said, you know, he's been a bit predictable. It's been the same little runs, trying to be tricky around the box.
He was better today.
Lashed it, and it's like a wonder goal. So you know, you kind of think. I totally understand the wanting Salah. I really do, because he is picking up again, and you could see the celebration today. Like the fact it came so close after the Manet goal as well. It was like no, I'm back involved here.
And the race is on for the Golden Boot, as Raba is saying. Salah's on 19, Mane's on 18. So I wonder whether there's the same way that Trent and Robbo are sort of try and vie for the most assists this season. Maybe there's a bit of in-house competition there, which I absolutely welcome. There's
I felt it today, though, didn't you? In those, because it was so quick after each other, and in the celebrations, it felt like there was a bit of kind of, I want to beat you in a friendly way.
Well, it did, but what I will say is that actually in the aftermath of the second goal, Liverpool almost got a bit too excited. Actually, Hazard could easily have scored, hit the post, and there was a save from Alisson from close range. So Chelsea could easily have been 2-2 within 5 minutes of us being 2-0 up. So. Very, very weird game.
Robbo had a little slip, didn't he? Like
Robbo had a little slip, absolutely. So you're going to be rocking game week 34, 35? You're going to be rocking 35, the double game week, with two Liverpool players, Manet and Robertson.
Yes.
And then who are you going to get additional for the Huddersfield game?
Firmino.
You're going to go Firmino, absolutely. So I'm guessing that's a Vardy to Firmino thing going on here. Yes, okay, I like the sound of that. And Chelsea, for their part... what do you make of Chelsea? I mean, it's an improved performance today, I thought, against Liverpool, but generally speaking, in recent times, not been that great, and I don't think anyone's really thinking of bringing anybody in other than Hazard, because he's the one man that's going to do something for Chelsea, if anybody.
Yeah, but I'm just not really sure that, like, I mean, so he started in the false nine position, then Higuain came on. It could have been different today, because, like you say, after the Liverpool second goal went in, there were some good opportunities for Chelsea there to bring a goal or two back into it. But
home to Burnley in the double game week, no double, but home to Burnley.
I mean, they are one of these teams that could, like we talk about, the single game week teams that could do stuff that upset the apple cart. But would you bring in a single game weeker ahead of the double game week? That's what I'm not sure. I think a lot of us, the Twitter community, the people that watch us, a lot of us who played our wildcards this week will have gone Chelsea-less on the basis that it was Liverpool and then a single game week in the double.
I think for me, I've got all eyes on Brighton versus Cardiff tomorrow. If Brighton beat Cardiff on Tuesday, Cardiff are pretty much down, and I think Burnley will then be going into Chelsea with we're safe. And they'll go there and probably just go through the motions. It's an evening game, I think, as well, on like a Tuesday. It'll be a game they probably can't be bothered travelling for. Do you know what I mean? And on that basis, I think Chelsea could actually, if they are up for that game, which is a big if, but they are got something to play for. Right? They need to win that game to get into the top four.
Oh, I was just going to say that. So you're quite right. That race for third and fourth is really hotting up now, and it's got to a stage where you can't lose games, because if you lose a game, you are taking a backward step in terms of that race. So Chelsea losing today, that sets them another step back again. If Arsenal lose tomorrow against Watford, then that sets them back again. So there is all of this competition, and so for the likes of Chelsea, yes, it might only be a double. It might not be a double, but in the same way that Liverpool have massively got stuff to play for in those single game weeks, so do Chelsea. Okay,
and just before we finish up on Man City, Rabar is saying, who's the top four then, Sam? Go on, top four. Predict it right now. Let's see it. City and Liverpool 1 and 2.
I was going to say, do you want me to say who?
Who do you think is going to be third and fourth then? Spurs and...
Arsenal?
It's just a pained look on your face as you said that. It's like, Arsenal? Okay. All right, very good.
Maybe United. United or Arsenal. It's Spurs and United or Arsenal. I don't think it's Chelsea.
Very good. Then let's talk about Man City 3, or Palace 1, Man City 3, I should say. We touched on it at the beginning of the live stream. Really, really good performance from Manchester City. I don't think Palace had the ball for the first 25 minutes. I mean, City were just in complete control of that game. And despite the Miljovic free kick, then Jesus killed the game off at the end. If you're a Sterling owner, absolutely fair play. Again, it was a bit Pep lottery, wasn't it?
Sorry, Josh. He's upset with me.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Sorry.
But I think in that game, it was, as usual, buy a ticket to the Pep lottery. Just hope for the best. And I think if you bought an Aguero ticket, that's unlucky. If you bought a David Silva ticket, unlucky. I don't think many people were buying a Bernardo ticket, but of course he was at a bit of an injury or something was going wrong there, so he's obviously resting him. Bernardo actually a really key player in that side right now, a key member of the first 11. So you can see if he wasn't quite fully fit for this, why Pep might rest him for the upcoming schedule, because he's got some massive games, not least against your lot. But Sterling, again, really, really good performance. Actually could have had more goals. Missed the sitter, didn't he? Missed the sitter in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Didn't let that get him down. Come up and banged in an absolute beauty for his first goal. So, again, any particular thoughts about Manchester City going into double game week? You're on Sterling right now, and Laporte as well, right?
Yes.
Do you want to go for 3 City in that double game week? You're happy with the 2?
Yes.
Okay. And would you consider getting any more Man City going into the end of the season, given that they have not just something to play for, but the thing to play for?
No. Only on the basis that in order to have another decent City player, that's going to cost me too much money, because I'd be looking at KDB or Aguero probably. And in order to do that, I'd be having to disrupt my team again. And I kind of feel like, well, I'm trebled on Liverpool. I will be. I'm doubled on City. I'm doubled on Spurs. It kind of feels like I've got enough of teams that have really got stuff to play for.
And if you're an Aguero owner, would you be a bit concerned about this little... He seems to be carrying something. I don't know what this is. We need some news.
I know he says that he's not injured, but he certainly looks injured to me.
Well, Pep did come out after the game and said he's not injured, don't worry, but didn't look fully fit to me. Go and check on the little man then while I set up the video with Gareth. Didn't look fully fit to me, guys, Aguero today. But listen, let's see what news we get over the next few days about Mr. Sergio Aguero. So I think the little man has piped up at just the right time for us to introduce the video that we made with Mr. Gareth Edser. So for you guys that are our Patreons, those of you that are following us on patreon.com/FPL Family, you will know that our manager of the month for March was Gareth Edser. And I can't remember how many points his team got, but he had a fantastic month in March. So what we did, because Gareth is in Bali and we are in obviously just north of London, the time difference wasn't quite right for us to have a Skype call in the same way that we did with Frank Verlinden the other week. So what we've done is we have gone and shot a Skype video with Gareth from a few days ago. We're going to play it for you now. It's about 10 minutes or so. And what I'm going to do is try and sort out the technology. And if this works, guys, this frankly is a technological miracle. But hopefully you enjoy the video. We'll be back in about 8 or 9 minutes or so when we will discuss our teams. We'll do the mini leagues, we'll do the polls, and we'll wrap up the live stream. So here we go. If you guys tell me about the volume levels as well. If the volume levels aren't good, guys, get into the live chat and tell me about it. So here is the video that we shot with Gareth a couple of days ago. Enjoy. So guys, this is our Patreon video for the month of March. So Gareth, welcome to the FPL Family live stream. We say live stream, it's not necessarily live in terms of right now on a Sunday, but we are recording this on Thursday afternoon. And the first thing to tell you guys, everybody watching, is that Sam figured out how to do this. I don't know whether that's a surprise to you or not. Probably not, given my recent technology history. But
given that last time I touched the technology, I broke the stream.
Given that last time you touched the OBS, everything went wrong. The police came round and everything went absolutely terribly. But we seem to have got it working. So Gareth, welcome. Live, well, as we speak live, from Bali, no less. So Gareth, congratulations on winning Manager of the Month for March in our Patreon League. Tell us a bit about yourself, first of all, where you're from, and why is where you're from different to where you are?
So yeah, I'm originally from a place called The Whirl, which is south of Liverpool. I was there till I was about 24, 25. Worked in hospitality most of my life. And then luckily got a job in Japan where I moved there for a year.
Very nice.
And this mountain in Fukushima. This man owned a 4-star resort, which is a British village called British Hills. It's very random. I was the pub manager and head of hospitality there for a year.
Cool.
Then did some travelling, lived in New Zealand, and then got myself to Australia. I've been there in Melbourne for the last 10, 11 years. And decided to take a break, and I'm in Bali, just trying to get a bit healthy and relax and enjoy life a little bit.
Very good, very good. So do you get time? What's the time zone like when it comes to sorting out your FPL team? Are you up in the middle of the night doing your wild card, or do you get to watch it? How does it work?
In Melbourne, when I had a job, it was a nightmare. It's especially in your winter and our summer, it's 11 hours difference.
Nice.
So the 3 o'clock game on a Saturday is like 2 a.m.
Yeah,
so you don't really.
It's not happening, is it?
So you're not watching much of the games. So you try and wake up on the Monday morning or Sunday morning, try not go on your phone, try not watch anything, don't talk to anyone, and then try and watch the game or games, which someone will always ruin it for you.
And that is a difficult thing to do. Anybody in the UK here that has done the Match of the Day challenge, where you try and avoid all of the results, everything, until you watch Match of the Day on a Saturday night, it's really hard.
It's almost impossible.
It's the worst thing. You can't follow. You can't know what's going on in the scores. So presumably you wake up, Gareth, on a Sunday morning, and your FPL team is bang. It's there. You're not following it. Who's got the assists? Any of that? It's just done. I know what I've got.
The worst. So the worst is probably a midweek game, a Tuesday or Wednesday night. Because then if I want to watch the game, I'll go to work at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'll tell everyone at work, don't tell me any scores or Champions League. I'll go to the cafe. I'll tell everyone at the cafe, don't talk to me. Keep my head down. I'll probably talk to about 5 people all day and then just run home when I finish work.
As quickly as you can. I love that.
Yeah.
So congratulations on winning the March Manager of the Month. Seems a long time ago. FPL moves so quickly, and we're all talking wildcards and we're talking bench boosts coming up. And at the time of filming, we're all putting together our wildcards, although at the time that this goes out, we'll be halfway through the fixtures. So we'll come to your wildcard and your bench boost thoughts in a second in terms of Game Week 34, which we're halfway through, and then Game Week 35. But talk to us a bit about March. Were there any key moments in the month of March that you really capitalised on? Any particular players that stood out?
Yeah, I think the main part was at the end of February is trying to decide which chip strategy to go for.
Yes.
Obviously, there's 2 the main ones. Either I think it was do the 3 hits in 31, do your team main for 32. That's what I was going to go for at the start. And then when the fixtures came out, it was only confirmed with Manchester United, I think, and Wolves.
Yes. Yeah.
And all the other fixtures weren't confirmed. So I got a bit of cold feet. And also the main thing was I didn't have any Man City players. And the idea of not putting good players into my team for that strategy felt a bit weird, especially with Man City's fixtures.
Definitely.
So I put Aguero and Sterling in for the first week for, I think, a hit. Captain Sterling in the first week, he got a hat-trick.
Ah, yes, I remember. What was the game? Who was he playing? Can't remember. 3-0. It was 3-0 against somebody. It was nil, maybe 3-1.
It was Watford. And that night as well. Yeah, I was in Bali and I was trying to watch that game because he was my captain. And I fell asleep at half time. And I was on like 12 points as well. And I thought, this is the worst. So next morning, had my breakfast, switched on for the second half, and there was like a hat trick in 15 minutes.
Love that.
Can't believe it. Yeah.
Did you have Sterling that week?
Yeah.
You did. I'm pretty sure I didn't.
That was the week I brought Sterling and Manet in, and Manet also hit 2 that week.
Oh yeah, because Liverpool won 4-2, didn't they? 2 for Firmino, 2 for Manet.
I find that was the last good game week I had.
It's all been downhill since then. So that was the peak. That was the peak. I don't remember having Manet or Sterling. That was back in the dark old days of March. I'm a bit better now.
Because that Man City game was an evening game, wasn't it, Gareth? Because I was out and I texted you to find out what the score was, and you just texted me back some sort of slightly abusive message about, I know it's Sterling, and I was like, I was just asking what the score.
In fact, I remember it being 0-0 for some time in that game, and I was thinking, they might drop points here in terms of the title. Put the kids to bed, came back down. They were not only were they 3-0 up, so I was really knocked at that. I was like, well, that's them with 3 points. And then I looked on my phone at who'd scored 3 goals for Sterling.
I think you had Aguero.
Oh, move on. I'm sick of talking about that already. Move on. Let's talk a bit more in the present then, Gareth. Let's talk about your wild card and your bench boost strategy. So, as we said before, when we're filming this, we are all knee deep in strategy and planning and panic, frankly. By the time this goes out, we will know how we've done at least 50%. Well, we will know obviously how game week 34 has gone.
The original 30.
Original 34.
Apart from that Brighton game.
Yes, because there's a couple so Brighton and Cardiff have got a double. So we'll know the majority of our game week 34 and how that's gone. We'll be looking forward to game week 35 and the bench boost. Given that, I think a lot of us, I think all three of us here are planning our wildcards with at least one or maybe 1.5 eyes on that game week 35. Talk us through your wildcard strategy, Gareth, with a view to next game week, which is game week 35. If any of that made sense. I'm not sure if it does.
Yeah, it makes a little bit of sense. Well, originally, I had it pretty much set for last week. Obviously, I had Kane, which I think everyone had.
Yeah.
I didn't have any Arsenal players, and most of all the other podcasts had a couple of Arsenal players. Everyone's going, Lacazette and Colley. And I was like, I don't want any of them. You can have them. Great, no problem.
Yeah.
And then the weekend happened, and then everyone changed. I'm gutted now because now everyone's got in Deeney and such. But I think the hardest question for me right now still is the Man City assets.
Yes.
Aguero, Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne is probably the biggest one. I'm not sure about yet, and Laporte. So thinking of trebling up on Tottenham, which I think a lot of people will at least double.
Oh, there we go. That's got a lot. It's got a lot of love in the room for that one.
Yeah. Brighton, I think I'm going to double up on Dunk and Duffy, but not the goalkeeper. I'm going to go Foster and Lloris.
Yeah, me
and
too.
Lloris playing Huddersfield in goal. And I think the bench boost will be better with those two goalkeepers than with Ryan.
Sounds very good.
I think Duffy and Dunk have a high ceiling for goals and assists for the 34 than Ryan, because apparently he doesn't do that many saves anyway. So I think the two defenders were a better option than the Ryan goalkeeper. And then the rest, I think it's a little bit template at the moment. I'm not sure if I should shield or sword, as they lads say, and gamble.
How have you found putting the wildcard together? I personally have found it quite tricky, actually. Trickier than the free hit was a few weeks back. I feel like, City, yes, absolutely, but their rotation risks. And then, Liverpool, yes, but then they got single game weeks. Spurs, yes, but ravaged by injuries. Every team that I go through in my head, I feel like there's a but. I feel like I'm compromising a little bit. How difficult have you found putting this wildcard team together, Gareth?
It's the argument, positive and negative for each player. Manet, keep arguing. I see a lot of Firmino now, going for Firmino because he's on a bit of a roll.
Looks
but
good,
then, yeah, and I'm an Everton fan, so it upsets me.
You're an Everton fan? Oh,
yeah.
Stop the call. Didn't even know that.
Kept that quiet.
Yeah, well, originally I was a Tranmere fan, and then, still Tranmere and Everton. So
very good. So Everton are somehow pulling some defensive displays out of nowhere at the moment, aren't they? So I think that's putting a lot of people off of the Arsenal double game week, right?
It's unreal. I don't know what's happened to Everton the last 4 weeks. So strange.
Doing very, very well indeed.
Yeah.
Very well indeed. So give us your final thoughts on then. Let's hear who your FPL player of the year has been, and if it's Jimenez, which seems as if it's the answer for everybody, pick somebody else, because I think Jimenez is largely seen as the FPL legend of the year. So if it's Jimenez, tell us, and if it is, then who's that gets the runner-up spot for you?
Probably Jimenez, but I'd say probably Robertson.
Robertson, absolutely. Yeah, I saw a stat today that he has outscored every striker in the game. Robertson.
Really?
Absolutely. He's got more FPL points than every striker in the game, which is pretty incredible, right? So he justifies his price tag. Even the legend Jimenez. Yes, absolutely.
It's ridiculous.
Good stuff.
Well, listen, Gareth,
thank you very much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Just before you go, who's going to win the league, Liverpool or Man City?
Man City, I'm afraid to say. But also, can I add just one thing before I go? With obviously, it's really my first year in FPL, trying hard and giving it a go. There's another podcast called Planet FPL. I'm probably sure you know Sudge and James.
We've met them actually in the Christmas meetup. We met
have,
Sudge and James.
We have.
Well, I think Sudge is doing a London marathon. for a charity, the Haven House Children's Hospice. And I was wondering if you could donate the £100 voucher towards Sudge.
Well, that's
amazing.
That is a fantastic thing to do. And of course, we can do that. And by the way, guys, we didn't know that Gareth was going to say that.
That's a surprise
that is a surprise to us. So absolutely sensational, Gareth. We can absolutely do that. And I will be getting on to Sudge straight away to sort that out. So that is a really fantastic gesture, Gareth. And thank you very much for doing that. Really sensational stuff, mate. So listen, thank you for joining us. Good luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully you can build on the fantastic success you had in March throughout April and May. And I hope to see you towards the top of, well, I won't see you towards the top of the FPL rankings. You might see Sam on your way up there.
Well, no, he's way past me now. I'm like...
Who knows? Who knows? Thanks for joining us here on FPL Family, and we will speak to you very, very soon. Cheers.
Thanks,
awesome.
Gareth.
Thank you.
Bye.
So there we go, guys. That was Gareth Edser, our manager of the month for March. And as gestures go, guys, I think you'll agree that that was pretty spot on from Gareth. That was pretty spot on. We had no idea that he was going to do that either, did we?
No.
Genuinely kept that completely to himself. I'd already said, let me know when you want the kit bag voucher, etc., etc. And he left it till then to say what he said, which was absolutely, guys. And that is one thing, and we always talk about, there's a lot of negativity that goes around, particularly in the FPL community on Twitter, a lot of negativity. Genuinely, I love it. I think it's a brilliant place to be, not least because you have people that are happy to do things like that. Absolutely sensational. And so while we're here, we absolutely have to do this, which is show you Sudge's fundraising page. So if you listen to the Planet FPL podcast, and frankly, why wouldn't you? It is a fantastic piece of podcastery. So get on to, I tell you what, let's do this. Let's do Planet, here we go, the Planet FPL podcast. So if you're not listening to these guys, you absolutely should. At Planet FPL Pod, there they are, Sudge and James that present that show. And if you want to follow Sudge himself, here he is. This is Sujan Shah, at Sujan Shah.
Look at those kids, they are
awesome.
So cute.
Cute kids, right? Cute kids. So Sudge is, as you will find out if you click on one of the links in his Twitter, you will eventually find yourself on this page. And you will know that Sudge, if you're a regular listener to the podcast, you will know, is running the London Marathon, which is in like a week, isn't it? Or like 2 weeks?
28th.
So Sudge's legs will be aching by now for all the training that he's doing. He'll be tapering. He'll be absolutely tapering. And he's going to be running the London Marathon, and he's raising money for Haven House Children's Hospice. So guys, if you want to go and support Sudge, if you want to go and support what he's doing, if you want to go and even just listen to the pod, go and check out those two Twitter handles and go and check out Sudge's fundraising page. And just so you know that we have done it, here it is, guys. So this is the donation that we made on Gareth's behalf at the top there. £100 to Sudge's charity. £100. So we're hoping that makes a big difference, not just to Sudge, but to the supporters of the Haven House Children's Hospice. So wonderful gesture from Gareth. Wonderful gesture.
Really lovely.
So thank you, Gareth. And I don't think he's in the live chat because it is 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. But hopefully Gareth watches this back and sees all of the nice comments that you guys are making in the live chat, because that was a wonderful gesture, and we're really absolutely delighted that we could share that with you tonight. Absolutely delighted.
Absolute superstar.
So there we go. Get on to Sudge's site. There he is.
Good luck, Sudge.
Sujan Shah, yes, and good luck to Sudge for doing the run. I mean, that is some feat. I'm struggling to do 5 or 6k at the moment with my dodgy hamstring, so he's got to do, what, 23 miles or something? I mean, goodness me. Absolutely sensational effort. So there we go, guys. That is our really nice bit of karma for the evening. A nice way to end the pod. A nice way to end the session, the YouTube session here. But we have yet to look at our scores for the game week. So let's check out how my team got on first and foremost. Wildcard played, as you guys know, pretty good actually. Pretty good this game week. So 69 points.
Sudge is in.
Sudge is here. How you doing? 26.2 miles, he says. Don't forget the point 2. Don't forget the point 2.
All important. Those will be the worst bits.
Those are the worst bits. Yeah, absolutely. I'm told they're the worst bits. Talking as if I've ever done. I've done a half marathon.
You can do it next year.
I've done the Reading half marathon that ended in the Madejski Stadium, and it almost killed me. So Sudge, good luck with your 26.2. Absolutely sensational stuff, mate. So 69 points for my FPL team this week, with Ryan and Duffy still to play. And those guys, as with most of us, let us down big time. So doubled in Brighton defence. So pretty awful there so far. Let's see what happens in the Cardiff game. Outside of that, my defence and midfield, I'm pretty happy with, right? So Son come on, despite only playing 8 minutes, got an assist. What an absolute ledge.
Hero.
Obviously, Lucas Mora is the star of the show in this particular team, and Sterling backing him up as the support act with 14. It's the front line that's let me down. I went out for a little bit of a different sort of captain. I wouldn't say differential, but, actually,
it was a differential.
It's a bit of a differential. Went out there and just thought that Lukaku's record against West Ham was really good. I noticed he always seems to score against them. And I think up until the Barcelona game, in the previous games in the Premier League, actually looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was a good week to take a bit of a risk with the captaincy when everyone was putting it on like a Brighton defender. I was like, wow, flipping it. Why not have Lukaku? Didn't pay off. Could have done, but there we are. Never really looked like scoring in that game. Vardy obviously disappointing, but missed a sitter. And then Jimenez, I bought him in mostly for next game week. So listen, if he gets a 1, he gets a 1. But outside of that, guys, pretty happy. I don't know whether the overall ranks are updated.
No,
I don't think they have because livefpl.net has me at about 88k, I think, at the moment, which is this is serious.
Hang on, you're back within the top 100k.
This is serious, Sam from FPL Family. I've got a nosebleed. I've got dizzy. I'm dizzy.
Let's get some prosecco out.
Honestly,
crumbs. Why are we not celebrating this? I could have had another drink.
Let's just say it's a little bit more where I'd like to be. Given that, I think about.
Wow.
So, and I was thinking about this before. When was it that when all this fun started? Game week 31 was it when we started playing chips and stuff, and we were thinking about, when you were going to triple captain and all that sort of stuff. I think I was somewhere like 220k. So very, very happy to have played the strategy that I've played with the chips. Given that actually a lot of the time my captains haven't come off, like my triple captain on Salah absolutely went awfully. And of course my Lukaku captain this week has not come off at all. But what I will say, Lucas Mora, absolutely sensational. Absolutely
He's a legend.
Sensational. He was, there's no way that I'm in the top 100k without Lucas Mora's 21 points. So there we go. Went with my gut a little bit, guys. Went against the Twitter template. Everyone was saying Eriksen. I just fancied Mora to do better. So there we go. Happy with that. 69 points. Let's see how you got on this game week. Look at that. This is our private league with all of our mates in it. they hate us.
Why are they friends with us?
Genuinely hate us. 63. Very, very good game week. Inside the top million for game week rank. Talk us through your team.
Yeah. Deeney to come and Duffy again.
Deeney to play. Yes, absolutely.
I'm really pleased, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty good.
I'm back 12k green arrow. Finally, the elusive green arrow. So
where does FPLlive.net or whatever the site's called have you right now for overall rank?
25.
25. So it's a nice recovery from where you were sort of back into last week.
Yeah.
10k rise, something like that.
12k
rise. Very nice. Okay, very nice.
So that puts me back, in the top 25k, which is getting there. So, if we can do that again next week, then I'll be back towards that top 10k, which is where we want to be. And, I said at the end of last week when I was talking to people on Instagram and that actually that the points difference between the top 10k and the top 25k is actually quite small. So there is a lot of movement in there if you can get on the right players and if you can pick some differentials. And I kind of felt that partly this is why I stuck with Pogba, because everyone around me was getting rid, and I just thought I need to not be template with this. I need to have some people in there though.
And I don't think Deeney's massively owned, right? So if he comes on and if he does something for 6.4. 6.4. I mean that's differential, right? So where you are, that's differential.
Yeah.
So if he bags a couple tomorrow night, you're laughing. Yeah, absolutely.
It's nice to have my midfield all doing bits this week. That's nice. And Laporte clean sheet is annoying because he was on for a BAP as well. But everyone's got Laporte, or a lot of people have got Laporte. Or
a City defender of some description.
Yeah. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts there, really. I was pleased that I went Lloris over Ryan. That's paid off already. And
so pretty good week. Pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and I look at them and I think, you're all right.
All right, so I don't know whether the leagues are updated. So what we're going to do is go to livefpl.net. So let's do that. Livefpl.net. If it's working, it was a bit down, wasn't it, earlier in the day? So let's see if it's got any league updates for us. Guys, if you're not using livefpl.net already, go check it out. It's pretty much everything you'd want from the FPL site because it's bang up to date, isn't it? Looks as if it's hanging a bit here, guys. So I'm not sure we're going to get any joy from this, which is a bit of a shame. So why don't we just try going back to
The main site.
The main site and see what happens on here, because we'll at least have some scores, won't we? Oh, goodness me, it's very slow. It must be taking all the bandwidth up with the OBS. It's not having it, is it? It's not having it. The technology is letting us down.
You can do it from your phone and then do it that way.
We can talk about Suji's fundraising page a little bit more.
Yeah.
There we go. It's the only link that's up at the moment.
Do it from your... Oh,
here we go. Right, we've got something. Let's see. Leagues. I might have to do it on my phone here because it's a bit...
Oh, no, it's okay. It's all right.
It's okay.
It's playable.
Crisis averted. Live stream regulars. Let's have a look in here. So, yeah, it's not updated. It's not updated. I'm 18. Ryan has definitely got more than 18. Guarantee it. Yeah, 37. So Ryan's on 37. Overrank of 24, which is, I don't think, updated either. So
Captain Duffy.
Captain Duffy. I'm going to see, guys, if I can get it on here, on my phone, because my phone is on 4G. If I can get live FPL on here, that would be really good.
It does appear to be doing something on yours,
It's something, isn't it? It's something. Choose league and instructions. Let's have a look at this. Choose from one of your leagues. Sorry, guys, bear with us. Live stream regulars. FPL Family live stream regulars. Choose league. Here we go. This is a bit Heath Robinson, isn't it?
Here we go. It's working on these phones.
We're on. So that's it. You have to see if you can look at, see if you can see that.
Yeah.
Potentially not.
Don't ask me to read it. Whatever you do.
So Ryan is on 37 this game week. So let's see where he is. Total points 2229. Very good. Captain Duffy, yes. As with Manahar, actually. So Manahar closing the gap, actually 50 points so far this game week. So he's now only 20 points behind Ryan. Duffy captain also. Naomi Wiley in with 2,196, 52 this game week. Son captain. So she's kind of, she's almost up there with the two guys, but it's Ryan Manahar, Naomi third, Mark Nunes, who I know is a live stream regular, is regularly in. So Mark Nunes in at 2140 points. Played the wildcard this week. Vardy captain, unlucky Mark, unlucky.
That could have been different.
Could have been different if he'd bagged that goal towards the end. Let's see if there's any really, really awesome scores in here for this game week. Josh Telling, 61. Very well done, sir. Very, very good indeed. 63 for... Oh, that's you. 63 for you, Sam from FPL
Where
Family.
am I
very
now?
good. You are 29th.
Oh, I'm all right with that.
That's very good.
Yeah,
that is very good indeed. Let's see what else we've got here. 67 for a team called Nuclear Arrow by Avengers Assemble. So no names there.
Avengers Assemble.
Nuclear Arrow, very good. 67. 84, would you believe? 84 for... oh, goodness me. Okay, Afrasayab, I think you say that. If I've said that name wrong, I apologise. But 84 points. Let's just have a look at that team. 43rd in our league. Trent, Robbo, Manet, Son, Sterling, Mora, Ryan. Hold on a minute. Looks a lot like my side. that's me. How did that? Why is that not brought up the right?
Because it's brought up there.
Guys, we can't. Because we had the video, we've used up all of our That's the technology luck done. We've peaked.
I did that.
You did that. The Gareth video, we've peaked.
I did that.
Everything from then on is just rubbish. We're reading it off our phone. People, it's just absolute rubbish, isn't it? I'm clicking on the wrong sides and everything. But anyway, Afra Sahib has got 84 points and he looks as if he's the manager of this particular week. I want to have a quick look in the
Patreon league.
The Patreon league. So I want to have a quick look at the manager of the month for April.
Can you still enter this league if you so choose?
You can, yes, you can, because if you enter it, it will count your scores from the beginning of the month.
Okay.
So you can enter it if you want to. I'm going to close it after this game week, though. The next game week, I'm going to close it, because what you could do is you could not be a patron until the last week of the month and go, oh, I've got a chance of winning this, and become a patron, and then everyone else
when game week 35 starts, you'll close it?
Yes. Yes, I will do
that. There you are. So if you want to join, become a patron and be part of that April Manager of the Month league, you need to join the league before the deadline on for game week 35.
So April's, I appreciate this is not presented very well. I'm doing it on my phone, but here we are with the manager of the month for April. In first place, a well-known friend of ours, Frank Verlinden.
No,
he's in there at the top.
You're back again,
Frank is back again.
I think I read there that Frank's running the London Marathon as well. So Frank, if
is
you
he really?
are, good luck.
Frank, good luck if you are. Frank Verlinden, a friend of the show, and of course,
February's
manager of the month, back again, top of the April league.
Guess who's back?
Second in the April manager of the month league.
Who? You?
It's me.
You can't stay there.
Absolutely unreal. It's
My
absolutely unreal.
goodness me.
And then third is Josh Telling. Fourth is
Joshua.
Bryce. And fifth is Neil. And joint fifth is Tips, is Harry Daniels. So listen, all to play for. All
Some
to
of the
play
big
for.
hitters up there.
Well, and me.
And
yeah, and me, yes. So,
Tips.
me and Frank leading
Tips
the way.
is going to be... Oh, Tips is loving that. He's had a shout-out on tonight's stream. And he got retweeted by official FPL. His
FPL
life
goals.
is made.
It's done.
It's done.
Absolutely
He was
done.
going to tell his mum.
So guys, I will get onto Twitter and I will repost some league updates because I appreciate that was a bit of a guff way of doing it. But there it is. The April Patreon Manager of the Month
I'll
League
pop them on
is
Instagram,
hotting up. It is hotting up. All to play for, guys.
Second!
If you want to get in. I'm second. I know. I don't know what's going on with me. Last 3 game weeks, I've had a stormer. It's like a little... What do they call it? It's like a little swan song. It's like a little...
Are you having a last-minute revival?
It's all a bit too little too late, isn't it?
Right,
It's a bit like... I'm trying to think of a footballing metaphor, but I can't think of one. It's a bit like Liverpool getting smashed 3-0 in Istanbul and then the comeback. But that wasn't too little too late. In the end, Liverpool did win that. So you're in my sights, Sam from FPL.
Right, okay.
Listen,
okay,
I'm just saying,
right, now.
a couple more game weeks. You were lucky with the Pogba penalties this week. Listen, just saying.
You wait for Mora to be benched.
Just saying. He's getting more on the bench. Going to happen, isn't it? Going to happen. So, guys, that is it for tonight. Thanks for sticking with us. A bumper episode of the FPL Family, including...
I've been going for nearly an hour and a half.
I know, absolutely, including the video from Gareth there and his wonderful gestures. So, Gareth, thank you once again for filming that video with us and donating that £100 to Suj's fundraising efforts for his London Marathon that he's doing in a couple of weeks. That is it, guys. That is it. Thank you for joining us. Oh, we've got to do polls.
Oh my goodness, the
We've got to do
polls.
Oh my god.
Have you remembered that?
Did
Did
anybody
somebody
even
say?
No one even.
No.
Guys, no. Come on, guys. You're slacking
They're
there.
all just encouraging you, like, talking about fighting
Absolutely
talk. Josh,
Is it?
as
Yeah.
if.
No.
Josh, come on now.
Absolutely no chance.
This is
Sam,
me.
who will be champion, Sam? Liverpool or Manchester City?
Liverpool.
Yes, is the right answer.
Oh!
I'll tell you what, it's close, guys. That is...
Have I swayed that?
I think you've swayed that. 51% of you guys, including Sam, are saying Liverpool. 49% of you are saying Man City. So I think your vote has tipped it in favour of the Reds. So there is an omen, if ever I've heard one. You are absolutely split, the FPL family community, on who will be
bit
champions.
like the league itself.
Exactly like the league itself. Choose a defender, Sam, for the rest of the season. Trent, Robbo, Doherty, Laporte or Vertonghen.
Robertson.
Robbo. 68% going Robbo. Yes,
From now until the
absolutely
day
agree
the
with
man
you.
retires, he will be in my FPL
Even
team.
if he's 7.5 next year, he is there.
Well, actually,
Robertson.
I'm not going to spend any money on because of the VAR stuff. No money will be spent on
That's
defence
true.
next
That's
year.
true. All penalty takers.
Yes.
Robertson 68%, Trent 17, Doherty 2, Laporte 7, and Vertonghen 4. So an overwhelming majority for Robbo there. Best Watford asset for the double game week: Delafeu, Foster, Deeney, Pereira, Will Hughes.
Well, I've got to stick by my man, haven't I? And go Deeney. I mean, I've got him.
Go with Dean now. You stuck with him. Okay, 50%. The guys do agree with you. Half of the community saying Deeney. A quarter of you guys saying Delafeu. 26% Delafeu. 21% saying Ben Foster. And then not a lot of love for Pereira or Will Hughes, I'm afraid. So Deeney is the favourite there. And how many City players for double game week 35, Sam? 0, 1, 2 or 3?
I've got 2.
2. Okay, let's see. 54%. Yeah, I think 2 is about right. The fixtures aren't great, but on their day, they can beat anybody, and they're going to get points, right? So only 4% of you going in with 0, which is very, very brave. 21% of you are going in with 1. 54% going in with 2, and 20% going in with 3. So yes, 2 seems about the right amount, if there ever was a right amount of City players to have. 2 is the popular amount, apparently. We are done. That was a bumper episode, guys. I feel like we have only scratched the surface of what's happened this game week. There's so much to discuss.
It's not even finished.
And it's not even finished. We've got
2 more
Monday Night
games to
Football.
come.
We've got the Duffy. What was it?
I mean, it could literally be Duffy, couldn't it?
It could be complete Duffy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of the right word. We've been going for an hour and a half, and I can't think of redemption. We've got the Duffy redemption that's going to happen.
He's not going to
Tuesday.
redeem himself. He's captained himself, the idiot.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, I
He
did
came out and
see that, yeah.
captained himself.
Brought himself in for a hit and captained himself.
Did you notice he also had Callum Wilson up front in his
'cause
team?
he doesn't
to
trust
sort of,
himself
he
to keep a
trust
clean sheet.
himself. He's obviously not played FPL for very long, guys. Guys, that is it. Thank you again for joining us. There's our Twitter at FPL Family on the left-hand side. If you want to go and chat to Sam on Instagram at FPL Family. Check us out, patreon.com/FPL Family. If you want to get involved with April's Manager of the Month and beat Frank and me and everybody else that's at the top of that league.
And Josh and Harry.
And Josh and Harry, I will be closing it when the next game week starts. So get in there if you want to. Get in there quickly if you want to join us in there. Other than that, leave us a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and we will see you on Thursday.
By a miracle, we'll be here on Thursday.
We will be here for the first Thursday in about 2 or 3 weeks. We will be here, guys, for our Game Week 35, double Game Week 35 preview video where we will be discussing...
It's going to be 3 hours long, isn't it?
Where we will be discussing... we'll be trying to streamline it into the usual hour and not into the hour and a half that this has taken. But guys, thank you for joining us. Leave us a like and we will see you on Thursday. Cheers, guys.
Bye, guys. Green arrows for the rest of the game week.